Welcome back to our SketchUp for Schools project here in Framing Plan Set 1. We are finally up to our roof and are going to create the rafters and see how far we can get on framing up the roof in this episode. To start off with, let's create this front side. So we need to first set out our first 16-inch increment. So this is where our first 2x4 is going to be. So let's draw out our 2x4 area and draw in your rectangle. Then take your push-pull tool and we're just going to bring this up to some height. It doesn't really matter how. We're going to right click on this and we're going to go ahead and make this a group. So it's 16 inches from this left side to this left side. So we're going to drag it from that left side. We're going to go over, type in 16, then follow it up immediately by X, and let's do 7. Scroll out, and that should be correct. Yeah. So now that we have that, we need to create our slope. So in the book, it says that the slope for this roof is 712. So that means that over the course of 12 feet, the roof is going to go up 7. So if we come over here and we take our protractor tool, this protractor tool will let us create slopes. And so we're going to start off by going here at the second or the very bottom of the double top plate right here. Create our 0. We're going to go up 7:12, and you should get that angle. If you want the actual angle, it's 30.3 approximate. Let's go on this other side and we're going to do the exact same thing. So create a starting point, drag over to the left and click in order to create a 0 or our 0 mark, and then type in 7 shift colon 12. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and bring in our tape measure, and we need to create a guide that is 1.5 inches lower than that right there. And this bottom one is where we're going to draw our lines. So if you right click, edit group, take our line tool, and let's draw a line across there and push pull it across. And we're going to do that all the way across. We needed to use the bottom one because we're going to lay a 2x4 over top of these. So if we didn't bring it down an additional 1.5 inches, this side would be too tall, because we marked off the lower end of our rafters. Let's go ahead and do this side. And keep going across. Luckily, once we do this side and get it exactly correct, we can just copy it over to the other side. And all the middle ones are relatively straightforward and simple. All right, so now that we have that, I'm simply going to take my tape measure. I'm going to go ahead and mark off our 6-inch overhang, as that's what it says in the book. I'm going to take my line tool and I'm going to go through here and mark off the outer edge of this 2x4. Then go to the other side, take our push-pull tool and bring that all the way across, hover over that, and there is our 2x4. Here I'm going to come in here, going to draw a line, draw a line straight down. And get rid of that part. Next, let's go ahead and we actually need to trim this. There we go. Now let's go ahead and make this a component. Take our move tool. We're going to move it, hit Control, bring it right back down to where it was. We're going to then select our move tool, click on the scale tool, click on that board, come over here to the right, select that middle piece, and drag it over until you top in -1. And that creates our mirror. So I wound up messing up here. So let's just really quick come in here and erase these top parts. And we got our last one. There we go. I'm going to take one of these, doesn't matter which, and first let's create our midpoint. So that is the midpoint, so that's the midpoint that we need our board. So select this one. It's a group, so we don't need to worry about changing it, but select it from the midpoint, hit Control, drag it over, and place it at the midpoint of that line. Let's go ahead and edit group. We're going to take our line tool. You can use your arrow keys in order to make it snap to this axis. So hit the up arrow key for the blue. Drag that down. Rotate around using the middle scroll wheel and the shift key. And we can erase our lines. Next, we do have our top rafter. But before we do that, let's go ahead and copy this over to the other side. So I'm going to erase all of these guides because we don't need them. Let's turn all of this into a group. So select your selection key, hold down Shift, and click on all of our pieces. Once you do that, right click and make all of that a group. We're then going to select your move tool, click on that back corner, hit Control, make sure that it is along the green axis, and put it there at the very back. So that is where we'll stop. We will come in here and we need to put our rafter across the top, so we'll modify these a little bit, and then we'll put in our common rafters going across every 16 inches. Make sure you save your project, and I will see you in our next video.